Field side. With the short field side, looks like they're bringing down one of their safeties in.
That'll move the sticks. First down and 10, ball spotted at the Deer Park 30. Terry Thompson, the senior captain, in there for the first time as McBride motions towards the line. Play action and a deep drop for Kieselhorst. Slings it downfield looking for King Phillips, who skies for the football and hauls it in Bulldog territory.
And what a catch. Did he reach at the highest point for that ball and bring it down? What a possession, Mason.
It seemed like he was making tremendous catches on a week in, week out basis last season, and King Phillips picking up right where he left off as he hauls in a big one. Takes it down to the Bulldog 41. Thompson looking for some room along the left side. Nothing doing there. And coming in, Ashton Ruffin, the sophomore, slicing through there and taking down Thompson right near the line of scrimmage. Actually going to mark it as a 1-yard loss as Thompson heads to the sideline. Gregory checks back in. Phillips now in motion. Going to roll the pocket. Kieselhorst looking, just going to dump it off. Pass complete and down to about the 35-yard line as Phillips hauls in his second catch of the drive.
Great play into the dump of the flats, Mason. The offensive line, everybody was moving in the direction they needed to go. It was wide open, nice, easy. Looks like about a 8-yard pickup.
Set up 3rd down and 5. Good comfortable throws for Kieselhorst here in the early going to get him settled in.
I think that's going to be super important to get him comfortable, to get him start throwing deeper into the field.
Now going to empty the backfield is Gregory going to be in the slot to the far side of the field, looking right, scanning, has time. Laporte only rushing 3. Now Kieselhorst going to take it himself, and he's going to just head out of bounds. It is that kind of no-man land territory where you're likely going to go for it here on 4th down.
Laporte's coverage was just where it needed to be. All their men were lined up in the right places, and there was just nowhere for him to throw.
Bulldogs dropping 8 on that play. Deer Park with a good-looking drive here to start things off, trying to cap it off with points. And before we get to 4th down and 5, have a slight delay in the action as Hayden Smith going to have to come off the field. And now some personnel switches happening as now Phillips going to take the spot of Hayden Smith. And number 3, Sebastian Saldana, takes Phillips' spot on the far side of the field. Fake the toss. Kieselhorst under pressure. Aaron deep downfield and just overthrowing King Phillips on 4th down. And the Bulldog defense able to hold.
Now it looks like the Porte sent number 21. That is going to be Asa Wallings on a blitz, and it got right in Kieselhorst's face and was unable to throw the ball.
Yeah, you think if he just had a half second more, he might have been able to drop that into King Phillips. But Bulldogs defense led by U of H's all-time leading tackler, Marcus McGraw, the defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. You know I had to drop that U of H
Of course,
reference.
I know you did.
Had to work that in.
I think we're fortunate enough that he's right in the booth next to us, and we look right at him. Oh,
got to be happy with the way his defense was able to bend but not break. 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs. They're going to try and go to the outside, but a good-looking play as Batista, the captain, coming in from that safety position and cutting down that play in the backfield.
Laporte's coming out in a wing T, and I'm not sure how long they've been running that, but it's been a long time since I've been in wing T formation.
Coach Bernathi coming over from Angleton, had a lot of success with the Wildcats with this run-heavy wing T formation. Trying to find similar success, hadn't been able to do so yet with Laporte. 2nd down and 10. Bulldogs have it at their own 36. Barnes and Sandolph, the running backs in the backfield for the Bulldogs. It'll be Sandolph looking for a hole up the middle. Good job by this front 7 for Deer Park to holds Sandoff to just a 3-yard gain up ahead to the 39.
We're getting physical out there, Mason. Got a little chipping going on.
Oh, you know that was coming.
I know.
Wouldn't be a border battle without it, it seems like. This Deer Park defense is going to try and hold Laporte to a 3-and-out. Third down and 6, and more whistles come in. It looks like Laporte going to burn their first timeout.
Yeah, they had about
opening possession.
They had about 1 second left on the clock. They seem to be caught up in the huddle a little bit. Seemed like a little sideline miscommunication between the huddle and the coaching staff, but they caught it just in time.
So able to avoid the penalty. Not ideal to have to burn a timeout on your first possession.
Absolutely not. I think this is going to, long term, of course, benefit Deer Park. Even from up here, Mason, I'm watching Luke Webb, and he is just dominating. And I think Laporte's game plan is just going to be to run the ball away from him as much as he can.
Try and get to the outside.
Yeah.
Avoid Luke Webb.
He's just been dominating up front. He's been penetrating the offensive line, getting where he needs to go. And every single time, for what I've noticed, is they seem to be running away from the young man.
Like we said, the reigning defensive player of the year and a preseason pick to win it again here in 2023. Third down at 6. Toss, little misdirection, and Deer Park going to blow that play up in the backfield.
And look who it is. Number 14, Reed Mallett making the tackle on the play.
Charging through, the senior linebacker and captain leading the charge for Deer Park. And 3 plays and out offensively for Laporte on their opening drive.
Flag on play.
Going to have the game's first penalty. Jalen Fisher, who was injured on that opening kickoff, or at least shaken up, he's back there to punt, so that's always a good sign to see him back out on the field. And his counterpart, also number 1, Hayden Smith, going to be back deep to receive this punt, as they're going to mark off some yardage against the Bulldogs here.
I believe Laporte had too many men in the field.
So Hayden Smith sneaks up to his own 30. 10 returns a season ago for Hayden Smith, 184 yards. Low snap, and Fisher does a good job to pick that one up off the turf. And Hayden Smith going to let this one roll all the way down inside the 20 before tracking it down at about the 15. Now looking for some blocks and try and bounce it to the far side of the field, trying to turn that corner. Gets ahead to the 20 and running a long way for a short return, but Hayden Smith takes it up ahead to about the Deer Park 22, and this offense will be right back to work.
A couple of very nice stiff arms on that one. Definitely got the defenders off of him, but Deer Park is ready to go for this one. Second offensive drive, and hopefully we can bolster some large plays out of this drive as well.
So Kieselhorst started things, and McAdams will come on for drive number 2. McAdams 11 of 25 through the air a season ago, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. Empty backfield look on McAdams' first snap of the night. Now going to motion Gregory in. Little option look and hand it off to Gregory, trying to split through that tackle, but a good job. Takes it up near the 30.
Very nice pickup of 7 on that jet sweep handoff.
Nearly got through the grip of Ashton Ruffin, the linebacker, but always good to stay on schedule on first down.
Of course, Deer Park's really moving it. As soon as the ball was set, their semi-huddle was broken, and they're ready to run the next play.
Second down and 4. Hand it off. Thompson looking for a hole up the middle. Not a whole lot there as he is stacked up after a short gain up ahead to the 30. And it is almost every play for this Deer Park offense. Moving personnel in, keeps those defenses off balance. Short third down coming up. Martinez lined up in the slot on the hash marks. Now they're going to send Phillips in motion. Little touch pass for him, looking for a hole. Little jump cut in the middle of the field. Picks up the first down and falling ahead to about the 39.
Very nice pickup at 10. Everybody was blocking. Everybody seemed to have their assignments, and they're moving the chains, Mason.
Great vision by Phillips after the ball got in his hands to pick up the first down.
Oh, very interesting. Deer Park's going into a huddle. I think it's the first one of the day.
It is a new era. Back in our day, it was every single snap.
Every single one.
First down and 10 for Deer Park. Second offensive possession for the Deer. Ball at their own 39. Deep drop, play action. McAdams loads up, fires deep downfield and overthrew everybody. Jalen Fisher was the closest player to that ball as he was looking, a little miscommunication between McAdams and Hayden Smith. You got to figure on that one.
Yeah, Hayden looked like he got held up a little bit. He was definitely pointing and looking to the refs and not so much complaining, but it seemed like he was off a little bit, and it's very uncharacteristic. But it is the beginning of the year. It is the first game, so trying to iron out all the kinks now.
That's right. All these non-district games trying to, like you said, iron out all those mistakes. Second down and 10, and they go back on the ground. Thompson falling ahead to about the 45. That's actually Isaiah Gregory taking that snap, and good-looking run there on second down.
The push was there, Mason. Just like we talked about, the battle's going to be one of the trenches today. I think I'm going to repeat myself about 70 times about that one. But the offensive line, by the time the running back got the ball, they're already up the field about 4 or 5 yards, moving their men.
3 new starters for this offensive line for Deer Park. See if they can gel together quickly here in 2023. Third down and 4. Phillips in motion. Little delayed handoff. Thompson slung down after a short gain, and he's had trouble getting going on the few carries that he's had here in the opening moments of this first quarter.
Looks like Deer Park sending out the punt team.
Francisco Sanchez, the punter. Bulldogs going to send back number 17, Landon Kay. Bulldogs a little bit late with that return team getting out and lined up properly. High short kick, going to take a hop at the Bulldog about 32-yard line before it takes a sideways hop out of bounds.
So before the game, we were discussing how we thought it was going to be a little bit lopsided today. I'm kind of glad to see a little bit of a defensive game.
Deer Park has dominated the last 2 meetings. They've outscored the Bulldogs over the last couple of years, 97-26.
And it seems like the time of possession this game, this year, seems pretty even so far. It's a little too early to call, but last year, LaPorte had the ball for 27 total minutes, and Deer Park only 20, with the score being 42-14 Deer Park.
Yeah, but that running game for Deer Park, they were just picking up yards in bunches as they go back on the ground, sand off again, and this Deer Park defense swarming against this Bulldog running game here in the early going.
They had just about everybody in the box that looked like they could. Mason looked like they had 8 guys inside the box with sort of a wing tee. They had 3 running backs in the backfield.
It is an offense that if you can get them off schedule, it's very hard for them to pick up third down and longs.
And in the modern age of football, every single time these young men have went to the huddle.
Bryce Cole going to the shotgun formation here on second down. Fake the give to Barnes, and Whistle's going to blow this play dead.
Refs indicating it's on LaPorte. Let's see what they say.
Ball start on the
always tough when you get the wide receiver called for the false start.
And you know what's going to happen on Monday.
Might even be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Break down film, go outside, get our yards back.
That's right. Second down and 16 after the penalty. Ball pushed back to the Bulldog 29.
After the penalty brings up second down and 16.
Shift on the defensive line.
Cole going to go back under center here on second down and long. Trying to get those 5 yards back with the hard count. Handed off to Sandoff. Breaks through the initial tackle at the line of scrimmage and does a good job to stay on his feet and pick up yardage up ahead to about the 39 for a 10-yard gain.
So Deer Park shifted to the far left side of the field to Laporte's side, and Laporte ran a trap play to the weak side. So just countering what Deer Park's doing defensively.
And it looked like Laporte was going to go with a little bit of tempo there, but instead they go back to the huddle. Still plenty of time as we're at 1 minute left to go in this first quarter. Cole going to go back to the shotgun. Sandoff, the running back, to his right. Low snap. Cole picks it up, looking left, and he is going to be swarmed and dropped for the sack.
And what a hit.
Adam White, the linebacker, coming in and dropping Cole. And once again, Bulldogs going to go 3 plays and out.
Brings up fourth down and long for the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs have yet to cross the 50.
Looks like everybody came to play. That's what we like to see.
That's right. Coming out of the gate strong here in 2023.
Seems like the Port's struggling from a personnel standpoint, especially shifting out from their special teams to their offense. They seem to be lagging. So
kind of slow, yeah, like you said, slow getting out there, slow getting lined up.
I don't want to say it, but it could have something to do with the heat. I'm not going to lie to you, Mason. I walked down there. I walked on the field just to give it a good feel.
Yeah.
And it
Personal foul after the play was over on the offense, number 23. 15-yard penalty, fourth down.
That's on Keenan Lawrence. He was second team all-district as a running back last season. Called for the personal foul penalty. Lawrence also had a kickoff return for a touchdown in last year's matchup. So this ball pushed back to the 22, and that's going to allow Hayden Smith to basically just kind of roam around midfield waiting on this punt. Fisher with a high short kick, and Smith going to make the fair catch at about the Deer Park 48. Thought there was some contact there, trying to call it out. Hey, why not? A little gamesmanship.
Absolutely.
Pick up 15 extra yards. Why not?
No, the refs, they're letting them play. I'm seeing it across the field. Everybody's kind of getting a little, I wouldn't say chippy, but they're keeping it in the whistles, and the refs are kind of letting them, they understand the significance of this rivalry.
Yeah, hopefully they can maintain that throughout the course of this ball game. It always seems at one point where it kind of gets out of hand, but hopefully not the case tonight. So about 19 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Deer Park, they've had the ball a couple of times. They've picked up some good chunks of yardage, but just been unable to cap off anything with points yet.
Looks like they're coming out in some sort of trips formation with a single running back in the backfield.
So Hayden Smith lined up in the backfield as Kieselhorst back on for his second drive. And they're going to hand it off to Hayden Smith on first down. Smith looking to make his cut. He does so. Lost the football down inside the 35-yard line, and the Bulldogs going to jump on it at the Bulldog 31.
Tough loss for the Deer, tough loss. Looks like they're about on the 32-yard line, 31 and a half. Hayden Smith got up a little slow on that one. I'm sure he's very disappointed with himself, but a lot of football left.
Yeah, game's first turnover goes in favor of the Bulldogs. But good blocks, and Hayden Smith found the hole. Had that ball in that inside hand. So the Bulldog offense right back to work. New quarterback in for them is Luis Rodriguez, the junior, going to go under center here on first down. Toss play for Barnes. Looking for a hole along the right side. Nothing doing as he goes right into the teeth of this Deer Park defense. Adam White there to make the stop.
Looks like they picked up roughly about 3 yards on that play, but They're just not getting the movement that Deer Park offensive line is getting on LaPorte's defensive line, and for good reason, of course.
And after the first 12 minutes, a quick-moving first quarter, we are scoreless here in the 70th edition of the Border Battle. Hey, it's week one for everybody. Back with the second quarter after this. Back here for the second quarter, scoreless through the first 12 minutes. Deer Park and LaPorte in the opening night of football here for both of these teams here in 2023. Deer Park, like we said, had that 9-2 record a season ago. Got off to a 7-0 start before dropping a district game against Channelview. Rebounded to finish out the regular season strong. And always a tough matchup in the bi-district round against Atascocita. But second down and 8 for the Bulldogs here to open up the second quarter. Hand it off, Barnes again. Finds a hole along the right side. He's going to take some maroon jerseys with him up near midfield before that play finally being blown dead.
And we got more laundry in the field, Mason.
Oh,
Seems
boy.
the chippiness has finally made its refs are had enough of it.
Tyrese Barnes, the junior running back, with LaPorte's probably most successful play that they've had so far tonight.
And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be lost to penalty yards. Let's hear what the ref has to say.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 98, late hit, 15-yard penalty.
And that's a tough penalty going against Deer Park because Barnes he never really went to the ground, so he was still on his feet trying to churn out for extra yards, but the whistle had been blown. But as a defender, you're flying around.
Absolutely.
You're just looking to hit somebody.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody wants to do, and maybe a little frustration's building.
So aided by the penalty, LaPorte now.
First down and 10 LaPorte after enforcement of the penalty. It's Deer Park.
Ball at the Deer Park 35. Play action. That ball
Fumble
batted
on the
down,
play.
and they're going to rule it incomplete as Luke Webb blowing that play up before they even had a chance.
Got a little too excited on that one.
All in all, just going to be incomplete and second down and 10, but
No gain on the play brings up second down and 10.
so both of these teams going through multiple quarterbacks so far. As Rodriguez at the helm for the Bulldogs, going under center, second down and 10. Toss play for Sandoff along the left side, makes his cut, trying to pick up positive yardage down to about the 31.
Pitch goes to number 6, Ricky Sandoff.
And of course, Luke Webb tracking that play down, along with Cameron Colquitt. This defensive line never giving up on a play. They will chase down run plays even deep downfield.
And if you were to do the old John Madden bubble, you know what I'm talking about,
Oh,
Mason?
yeah.
Like, where's the ball and where's relation to the play? Deer Park's front three, they're in every single bubble. Their engine is there tonight.
Ball at the 31, third down and 6. LaPorte trying to take advantage of the turnover. Toss play for Kay, who's tripping up and stumbled. Batista blew it up initially. Had some help coming, and Deer Park defense able to hold there on third down.
Looks like LaPorte's going to keep their offense on the field.
And Coach Flynn and the Deer Park bench trying to get this crowd into this one for fourth down. Loss of 2 on the play is all going to be pushed back to the 33. Long way to go here. Fourth down and 8. And LaPorte breaks the huddle. 10 seconds on the play clock. Rodriguez is going to go to the shotgun. Sandoff to his right, Barnes to his left. Bulldogs trying to take advantage of the turnover. Looking left, has time, now steps up, goes deep downfield. Jump ball near the 5 is caught and taken down inside the 5 to about the 2.
Tough play for the Deer on that one, Mason. It was a one-on-one, and we did not win.
Hisatake, the junior wideout, winning the one-on-one jump ball battle in that one and keeps this drive alive for LaPorte. Just able to out-jump number 22, Andre Jackson, and LaPorte going on the ground on 1st and goal.
No signal yet.
Still waiting on a signal, and they're going to say 2nd down coming up. Bulldogs thought they had it. Barnes denied there on 1st and goal.
LaPorte definitely gets to show their experience with their offensive line now, Mason. So it's literally going to be between their offensive line and our defensive line who's going to win the battle right now.
Just inches away from the end zone. Rodriguez going to go under center. Might just take this one himself. Takes a snap instead. Toss play for Sandoff, who breaks through the tackle and finds Paydirt. And the Bulldogs on the board first here in the border battle. Sandoff following Barnes. Barnes leading the way. Sandoff finds the end zone for LaPorte's first touchdown here in 2023. Extra point attempt, though, wide left.
Hopefully, with the Deer getting a good long break, they can sit on the sidelines, figure out what they need to do, readdress their issues, go back out there, and put the ball in the end zone.
Here you see the replay, just a toss play right to the right side. Sandoff, there was contact made in the backfield. Millette was there, just unable to wrap up Sandoff. And just from a yard out, LaPorte on the board with 9:09 to go here in the first half. And so Deer Park, they've rotated each quarterback a couple of times now. Anything stood out to you about either one of their play?
Not in particular, Mason. They seem to be running the exact same offense, whether they have Kieselhorst or they have, McAdams in there. They're sticking to their game plan, and it looks like they're continuing the spread. Of course, if you were to ask my opinion, I would suggest that they run more. So we've come a long way from when we played ball here, especially offensively, going to a complete spread. And now when we played, it was smash mouth, was similar to what LaPorte's doing. So it's almost over the span of time, the sides have flipped.
Yeah. So Trey Martinez and Hayden Smith once again back deep to receive this kickoff after LaPorte finds the end zone. And once again, it'll be Martinez running up on it, taking about the 18. Fields it on a run. Martinez, good return out past the 40. A little spark there. Maybe gets the Deer Park crowd back into it a little bit.
Seems to be great field position for the Deer. Hopefully we can capitalize on this drive. So maybe finally LaPorte scoring kind of broke the ice, took all the stress off of Deer Park. Now there's no need to score other than wanting to.
We'll see if it'll be McAdams here. We've seen Kieselhorst get 2 drives. But it looks like they will stick with Kieselhorst here and Terry Thompson, the running back, out to start this drive. Ball at the Deer Park 41. Looking to bounce back following that turnover by Hayden Smith on their last possession. And off, Thompson straight ahead, right into the teeth of the defense, and he keeps his feet moving. Good, tough run. Picks up about 5, and there you go. You were calling for more running.
That's what we need.
Smash mouth football, and you got it there on first down.
And it looks like LaPorte is not set. Looks like, again, they have personal issues. Defense running around all over the place. Offense is set and ready to run the next play.
Back to the line, and back on the ground for Thompson. Makes a cut near the line of scrimmage, lowers his shoulder, picks up a first down, and once just like that, Deer Park in Bulldog territory. Back-to-back good runs for Terry Thompson. Maybe he can get in the groove.
That's what we're looking like. And again, LaPorte just seems to be very disorganized right now defensively.
Sticking with his pistol formation. Instead, play action. Kieselhorst, deep drop. Going deep. Triple coverage for Hayden Smith downfield, and that ball batted away. Jalen Fisher, along with a couple other white jerseys, back deep. Just had Hayden Smith bracketed there.
Kieselhorst had a little bit of hesitation on that one. I think he saw the triple coverage and hesitated just for a moment and should have just tucked it and ran or dumped it in the flats.
Second down and 10 following the incompletion. Gregory checks in at running back. Faith to give to him, though, and more whistles come in. Going to get a false start going against Deer Park.
Flag on the play.
False start on the offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Second false start we've seen on a wide receiver tonight. This one going on King Phillips. Saw one called on the Porte a few moments ago. Ball spotted back right at midfield. Motion in Gregory. Faith to give to him, though. Kieselhorst going to try and take it himself and nowhere to go as he is met right at the line of scrimmage.
Quarterback landed. Kieselhorst on the keeper.
And what started with such a good-looking drive after a couple of back-to-back good runs by Thompson, and it has quickly gone south. Deer Park looking at 3rd and 15 here.
Deer Park goes a little hard count, see if they can get someone to move. Checking to the sideline for another play.
And McBride will come in. Report shows blitz. They come with it. Kieselhorst now hesitates, trying to escape the pocket and buy time. He's going to take it himself. Not a whole lot of running room as he's taken down at the 45. Gets back to maybe the original line of scrimmage before Ashton Ruffin, who has been all over the place. That sophomore linebacker, number 9, flying around for the Bulldogs, able to take down Kieselhorst, and Deer Park offensive drive stalls and will have to punt it away.
It almost seemed like Deer Park had Laporte on their heels, like defensively. They just seemed very disorganized. They couldn't get set. They couldn't get in a position, flip-flopping on the defensive line, and we could have taken advantage of that, but self-inflicting wounds.
Nearly blocked. That'll be at least a penalty of running into the kicker, if not roughing. This might bail Deer Park out. Rolls out of bounds at about the 15. Will it be enough to keep the Deer Park drive alive, though?
Personal foul.
There you have it.
Roughing the kicker on the defense.
And Coach McGraw in the box next to us, not loving that one. His defense did a great job to bounce back. And the special team's going to allow this offense for Deer Park to continue this drive.
I feel like Deer Park's gotten a lot of breaks now. They just have to take advantage of them. They seem to be every single time they have a position to be successful, they almost flounder it away or whatever the case might be. But I think this might help us and be the spark that the offense needs.
So a new set of downs for Deer Park and new life as they have it at the Bulldog 30. First down and 10. Handed off to Gregory. The speedster going to try and turn the corner. Stops about the 25, making defenders miss. Gets knocked forward up ahead near the first down line.
If you want to talk about a shifty run, Mason, that's some pretty good running. Left to right, up to down. Looked like a joystick out there.
That's right. So he picks up just shy of 10. It'll be second and short.
Looks like he came off the field.
Took a big shot at the end of that play, but he's shaking things off. Seems to be okay. Talking with Coach Davidson down there. So second and short. Thompson takes Gregory's place. He will line up out wide, line it up in the slot. Empty backfield as McAdams is on. Up the seam for McBride. Touchdown! The senior tight end able to get loose. And great job by McAdams to find him, and a good-looking throw right up the seam as Deer Park is on the board.
McAdams had all the time in the world back there, Mason. He was able to sit back, read the field, and make the perfect pass right up the seam and score a wonderful touchdown for the Deer.
And McBride, he had 16 catches a season ago. His first one here in 2023 goes for a touchdown, and Deer Park now with a chance to grab the lead. And more whistles come in before Sanchez extra point goes through.
Looks like it's going to be a false start on Sanchez. Seems like he hesitated just a moment.
On the offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. Retry the extra point.
So they'll mark off 5. Sanchez now going to try and boot through this extra point from 25 yards out. Low line drive kick, and it is no good.
The point after attempt from Sanchez is no good.
So we are tied at 6 with 6:10 to go here in this second quarter. Here you see the replay.
Left in the second quarter. Deer Park 6 and LaPorte 6.
And McBride just right up the seam. Nobody accounting for the tight end.
I think all the attention's going to the wide receivers, like you said, Mason. We got our speedy wide receivers, and we have our renowned wide receiver here. So we have Hayden and we have King Phillips, and all the attention's going to them, and everyone just completely forgot about McBride.
Never forget about those tight ends, especially down there near the red zone. And McBride gets his first touchdown of 2023 and gets Deer Park on the board, tied at 6 here. Border battle, those guys, they're fired up.
We definitely needed that score, Mason, but I'm going to say it again. I think LaPorte's starting to look a little sluggish, even running out to just get on the kickoff. They just seem like they're just getting a little tired. Might be a person.
That stuffed dog has been around, but it's made its pass downs through the years for sure.
Absolutely.
Hope it's at least getting washed consistently, but I doubt it.
We can't wash the victory off of it, Mason.
So Hurtado on to try and boot this one deep. Barnes and Kay. It'll be Kay fielding it about his own 15. Now going to try and reverse it to Barnes, who lost the football. Ball's on the turf. Deer Park trying to jump on it. LaPorte says they maintain possession, and they do, but that one almost a disaster for the Bulldogs.
Interesting choice on the Bulldogs, I guess, to try some trickery, maybe something up their sleeves to get the.
Well, it worked a season ago. Deer Park scored their first touchdown against LaPorte last year. They did a similar type play that went for a kickoff return for a touchdown. So maybe they thought lightning in a bottle for a second consecutive year, but that one almost cost them.
It looked like Deer Park stayed in their lanes and they stuck to their guns and almost resulted in a Deer Park ball.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 16. And Luis Rodriguez stays in at quarterback, going under center here on first and 10. Little misdirection, handed off to Barnes, big hole up the middle, takes it up to about the 22, so a pickup of 6 on first down.
That zone blocking definitely got the defensive line for Deer Park. Everybody was shifting to the left, and the running back just cut it through the backside and just right up the tight end and gained about roughly 6 yards on the play.
That is what's so tricky about this rushing attack for LaPorte. So many different ways that they can hit you. Hard to always be locked in. And here you go, back on the ground for Barnes, who's met right at the line of scrimmage. And he's going to be pushed back. Short gain on the play. Once again, Adam White for Deer Park leading the charge defensively.
White just sat exactly where he needed it. He almost like he predicted the play. He stuck to his gap. He squeezed hard and was there right where he needed to be to make the tackle.
So a chance to go 3 plays and out if Deer Park can make a stop here on 3rd down and 4. Rodriguez takes the snap right up the gut and nothing doing. A short gain as Sandoff just able to fall forward, but Millette was there to trip him up and bring him down shy of the first down marker.
Nice tackle by Millette. Solid tackling, broke down, wrapped up, made the tackle, and now it looks like the Bulldogs are out the punt.
Deer Park still with a full complement of timeouts as we get later into this first half. 4th down and 2. Bulldogs from their own 24 looking to punt it away. Another high towering kick that will take a bit of a Deer Park hop just shy of the midfield stripe before being downed by number 8 Tyron Coleman. So another short field. Deer Park, I feel like they're winning the field position battle, and yet Still tied here.
You absolutely read my mind, Mason. That's exactly what's happening. On the field, Deer Park's winning the game, but I feel like it's a lot, like I said, self-inflicted wounds. A lot of the fumble by Hayden, and now we'll see what happens. We have the field. We're definitely winning the field advantage, so we'll see what happens.
Officials timeout on the field.
And the officials sending both teams back towards the bench following this officials timeout.
This is an official timeout to water the players.
Interesting.
Very. I mean, good on them.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's definitely warm out there, and we've had uncharacteristically warm weather here in Texas, even for Texas.
Yeah, even here at almost 8 o'clock, still 93 degrees here at Abshire Stadium. Even warmer down on the field for sure. So good job by this crew to take that official timeout, make sure that these players are staying hydrated.
Yeah, the wet bulb reading when I showed up on the field was 97 degrees ambient air. On the field, it was looking at like 116.
Ooh, yeah, that rubber turf, that heats up quick, and it lasts a long, long time.
Doesn't seem to dissipate. But crowd seems to be loving it. Players seem to be playing pretty well. I feel like from a endurance standpoint, Deer Park has the advantage. Just from what I've seen from like literally holding your water, making sure you're not making stupid penalties or doing anything you're not supposed to, lining up correctly, getting on the ball quickly, Deer Park seems to have it.
And, yeah, you would think that Deer Park, even just with the numbers that they have and how often that they're rotating guys in, especially on offense, that they have that depth, they have that freshness. If that becomes a factor later on in this game, you would think that advantage would go to the Deer. So following that officials timeout, Deer Park taken over after that Laporte punt. First down and 10. Ball spotted at the Bulldog 48. And McAdams just coming off that touchdown throw. Will be back in there at quarterback. Fake the give to Thompson, and that little RPO, and that ball nearly intercepted, but instead caught by King Phillips, who breaks the tackle and takes it down the far sideline and down into the Bulldog red zone to the 18.
King Phillips was lined up on the far side of the Deer sideline, was put in a motion, and it didn't seem like anyone really covered him. It seems like Laporte's running some sort of a cover two, and they just let him go, and they lost complete control of him, which was our advantage.
Yeah, good start for King Phillips tonight, his longest play. As the clock rolls inside of 4 minutes, first down and 10. Phillips going to be split out wide to the bottom of your screen. Hayden Smith lined up next to him. McBride goes in motion. Little option look. Now a little shovel pass for McBride, who finds a little bit of a crease down inside the 15.
Good on the Deer for shaking it up. They've been putting McBride in motion from the Y, shifting him over to the strong side or the weak side, and then they've been sending him upfield or using him for blocking. Nice little shovel pass.
Shovel passes can get tricky with all that traffic down there, but good job by McAdams to find him.
And good job by the offensive line by clearing out all the Laporte Bulldogs from the trenches to make sure that shovel pass was successful.
Ned's a former offensive line guy. He's
Love
always going to give a shout out to the O-line. Second down and 6. Option look, but goes on the ground. Thompson lowers his shoulder, and Thompson, he's starting to find his groove, and it seems like the last few plays that he's gotten it, he seems to be falling forward. That's always important.
Absolutely. He has momentum. He has inertia, and he's using every ounce of it. And, of course, with a tribute to his offensive line.
Third down and 1. And I believe for the first time here this season, we're going to see Millette check in. We saw him utilize that Wildcat formation a lot last year. 10 touchdowns on the ground a season ago for the linebacker turned Wildcat QB. But he lines up here, going to lead the way for Thompson along the left side. And Thompson picks up the first down. It'll be first and goal down to the Bulldog 4.
Great blocking up front by Millette, by the tight ends, by McBride, by everybody. That was just great movement, and we seem to be imposing our will, and it looks like it's winning us the fight right now.
Yeah, Deer Park, it seems like, at least offensively, starting to find their groove. Like you said, starting to impose their will.
You know, I like those big dominating words.
First and goal. Millette stays in, and Coach Bernithi going to take a timeout. Bulldogs going to burn their second one here with 2:01 to go in the first half.
This is their second timeout of the first half.
Deer Park, at least so far on this drive, taking advantage of that short field, just 4 yards away from capping things off with a touchdown.
Call me crazy, but it almost seems like this is part of Laporte's game plan. They seem that every single time we seem to be gaining any sort of momentum, they seem to either call a timeout, slow us down, try to get us off our game, or when they're on offense and they're moving the ball well, they'll huddle up. They're trying to control the clock to control the game. And we're a very speedy offense. We're just trying to get things, we're trying to get set, get out there, run the play, check to the sideline, and Laporte's trying to scheme us out of what we do.
And it's worked so far here through the first 22 minutes or so, tied at 6 in a series over the last couple of years that Deer Park has dominated. Not the case so far here tonight.
I'm glad it's a good game because it gives us something to talk about. I know we talked about that pre-broadcast.
That's right. A couple of years ago, 55-12. I think the biggest lopsided victory in the series history. Deer Park winning that one. I think it's also the most points scored by any team in the series. First down and goal. Millette lined up by himself, and Millette straight ahead, follows his blockers along the right side, gets a little push from his offense, and Millette finds the end zone.
What a run. Didn't stop moving his feet. As soon as he hit the line of scrimmage, he chugged all the way to the end zone, Mason, dragging defenders behind him.
Great run by the linebacker / Wildcat QB.
Great. And reminds everybody of the good old days when Tebow was down at Florida.
That's right. Been watching Netflix recently, huh?
I have not, actually, but
okay.
I did see it.
Okay. Deer Park going to try and push their lead up to 7. Sanchez on for the extra point. Erdman to hold. Good snap, good hold, and a good kick. Splits the uprights, and Deer Park takes a lead for the first time tonight, 13-6, with just under 2 to go in the first half.
Much better kick from Sanchez this time. Maybe didn't feel as pressured this time, the right where it needs to be, and he did great. Millette came to the sideline. It is fired up.
The senior knows that it's the last border battle for him.
The
so of
very
course,
last one.
This group of seniors, they want to go out with a win.
Well, as long as we continue to do what we do offensively, and especially with the battles that we keep winning.
Great second effort and a little bit of a push by McBride. So give the assist to McBride there on that touchdown run.
And again, here it is. The Deer are out there before the Bulldogs are, playing the little mind games.
Yeah, trying to ride that momentum. So Laporte, obviously a run-heavy offense and only one timeout to work with. Obviously an uphill battle, you would think, depending on what they can do on this kickoff return. And we saw them try and dig into the trick playbook last time and almost cost them with a turnover. They were fortunate to recover that fumble, but a high little chip shot and no fair catch signal made. Laporte going to take it from Sandoff from about the 30-yard line. Short return, maybe gets up to the 35.
And again, before the play, it looked like Laporte had some miscommunication. They were talking back and forth with each other. Hands were going in the air. Hopefully that continues for the Bulldogs, and the Deer can take advantage of it.
Take that. Deer Park with the game's lone turnover on a Hayden Smith fumble. Maybe this defense can even things up here on this possession. And they have been flying around tonight.
Just in comparison, Mason, I'm just looking at the quarterback for the Bulldogs versus offensive line. I'm sure he can hide behind him.
Rodriguez, third straight drive that he's out there. A little misdirection, rather. And Kay loses the football. Ball still loose. Picked up by Laporte. One of the offensive linemen has it. And he's chugging ahead for a first down run.
I hate that it happened for the Bulldogs, but that is a dream right there, Mason. That is a dream. An offensive lineman catching the ball out of the air and moving the ball forward. We'd love to see it. We just wish it was for the Deer.
Oh, man. Just the way you draw it up.
Just the way you drew it up. And that ball popped straight up. Great hit by the Deer.
Braden Nelson living every offensive lineman's dream right there. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 45. Toss play for Barnes. Going to try and bounce it, break it through tackles, and take it into Deer Park territory before being bumped out at about the Deer 45. Close to the first down marker. Does get out of bounds, allows the Bulldogs to keep that timeout in their pocket as well, as we're Under a minute and a half to go.
We got a player down for the Bulldogs, but there it is again. The Bulldogs are running away from the Deer every single play on their stretch plays. When they do run inside, they're running away from our big man, Luke Webb.
And it's number 56, Nelson, who just had that fumble recovery. A little bit shaken up. Heads towards the bench. So that is enough to move the chains for LaPorte. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 46 of Deer Park. And like you said, there you see that comparison. Rodriguez, the quarterback, matched up side by side with his offensive line. Now going to go to the shotgun set. Rodriguez, quick drop now, feels the pressure. Going to try and escape it up the middle, but nowhere to go, and he's going to be dropped. Sack on the play, looked like number 88, Thomas Johnson, the sophomore. You know you're a sophomore defensive line when you're stuck with number 88.
They're like, you
don't get a chance to really pick whatever number you want.
It's like the coaches close their eyes and they're like, you're going to be 88.
Sophomore, you get 88.
But great coverage by the Deer. That was a coverage stack. The pocket collapsed over time. It was there for the Bulldogs. They just, our Deer just seem to do a lot better at covering Bulldogs, and they can get open.
2nd down and 12 following that sack. They go back on the ground for Barnes. Not as much success here. Clock continues to run.
Much better for the Deer. They definitely didn't allow the stretch to go outside too close to the sideline, and they used the sideline to their advantage, which stopped the LaPorte's run game in their tracks.
Yeah, Barnes shut down after basically getting to the line of scrimmage. LaPorte doesn't have to snap the ball. If they want to just head to the locker room for the first half, they have that ability, and that looks like what's going to happen here after going backwards on those last 2 plays. And instead a timeout.
Timeout, LaPorte.
Called with 6.1 left. So maybe they're going to take one last heave towards the end zone here to close out the half.
That would be my only guess. I'm not sure what their approach is. Maybe try a hard snap to see if we can get the Deer to jump and then close the gap a little bit and then toss it up in the air.
Now's the time to bring on quarterback with the biggest arm, and we've seen them kind of rotate throughout the opening half. So we're not even sure which quarterback that might be.
Rodriguez seems to be doing the best for the Bulldogs so far. He seems to be commanding his offense really well. Other than the sack that he took, he seems to be doing a lot better than his counterpart.
Yeah, we saw number 14, Bryce Cole, early in the game for LaPorte, but have not seen a whole lot of him since then. So 6 seconds to go in the first half. Deer Park with a 13-6 advantage. A little bit lower scoring than we were thinking coming into tonight's game.
And the Deer are backed way up in their secondary. Even their linebackers, they're lined up about 7 yards off the ball right now. So they're definitely anticipating a pass.
And not a traditional pass formation as Rodriguez going to go under center, and Coach Flynn gets a glimpse of what the Bulldogs might do on 3rd down and calls his first timeout.
This is Deer Park's first timeout of the first half.
And that's a great use by Coach Flynn in his timeouts. And that's a great on the offense, great on the defense for not having to use a timeout unnecessarily.
Right.
So that comes down to preparation. That comes down to being lined up correctly, kind of like what we talked about. The Deer just seemed very, very well prepared. The scoreboard might not reflect it, but if you're watching the game, you can definitely see it. The Deer seem very ready. They're set. They're ready to go, other than the minor mistakes that they seem to be making, which I feel like they're going to go into the second half, make minor adjustments, and come out and dominate.
Yeah, you would think just the way that the game has gone, once things settle in, that Deer Park just has so much going for them that they will eventually start to pull away. You would think, at least how things have gone throughout the course of this first half, but that's what's crazy about football. You never know.
And LaPorte looks like they're coming out to – looks like they're going to need the ball, but now they're going to run a play.
Rodriguez under center, what should be final play of the half, and we've got penalty markers on the field. We'll get to this play eventually. Penalty going against the running back Sandoff in the backfield.
Looks like LaPorte's attempt to get the Deer to jump backfired. But again, comes down to preparation. The deer are ready, and we're anticipating that exact thing.
With all the delays, this better be the greatest final 6 seconds in football history. Rodriguez under center. He motions K out to the left side. Little fake the reverse. Barnes going to keep it to the left side. Upended, stays on his feet before being gang tackled by Deer Park at the Deer 48. And that does it for the 70th edition of the Border Battle. The first 24 minutes goes in favor of the Deer, 13-6 as we hit the break here at Abshire Stadium. Back with more here. Opening night for the Deer, and they've got a lead on the Bulldogs, 13-6 at halftime.
And now, we proudly present the award-winning LaPorte High School Chatos. The social officers are Executive Madeline Ross, Executive Madeline Tessero, Historian Sienna Naren, Secretary Taryn Cole, Vice President Ashley Dudley, and President Sarah Silva. The dance officers are Lieutenant Kaylee Hates, Lieutenant Kara Nava, Lieutenant Amelia Leva, the First Lieutenant Macy Slavic, and in the center, the Captain, Ariel Thompson.
Enjoy as the deer escorts and their bob perform a routine to Rescue Me. The deer escorts are under the direction of Jen Marr, Assistant Director Bethany Phelps. Deer escort sponsors are Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union, Suncoast Plastic Surgery, Moody Family, and TSC Logistics. Presenting the 2023 Deer Park High School Marching Band. The band is under the field direction of drum majors Caitlin De La Rosa, Cody Gonzalez, and Gabriela Paez. Director's Report: Matthias Diaz. Section of the Week, Trombones. Color Guard Member of the Week, Brianna Cox. Outstanding Officer, Cole Garner. Tonight, for your halftime entertainment, the Deer Park Band performs music from their 2023 marching show, Grow Your Gratitude.
and challenges to help the work progress is what we've done since the day we started. At Shell Deer Park, we're proud to have a Park High School manufacturing and energy products that fuel our world and our solutions for our future, all from the historic birthplace of Texas, since 1829. We are proud to be part of this community's rich legacy, and our top priority continues to be to operate in a safe, environmentally sound manner for the health and well-being of our community, which includes our workers and volunteers. We know we couldn't do our work without your support, so thank you, Deer Park. Let's make the future together.
Welcome back to Abshire Stadium, everybody. Mason Pratt here alongside Ned Alsaid, who is stepping in, filling in for Tim Culp, getting ready for the second half of the kickoff of the 70th Border Battle. Deer Park leading LaPorte here at the break, 13-6, a little bit of a lower scoring game than we thought.
It's still been a great game, Mason. Deer Park has come out, have been very disciplined, has been getting on the field, as opposed to LaPorte has been seeming very sluggish, very off a little bit. Almost seemed like, from an endurance standpoint, the heat's starting to get to them.
And taking a look at some first half numbers, Deer Park, like we said, having the lead on the scoreboard, that's the most important, but they've outgained LaPorte on the ground. 16 carries for the Deer for 74 yards, 117 yards coming through the air. So a total of 191 first half yards to LaPorte's just 93. Deer Park averaging over 7 yards per play, and yet still only lead by a touchdown. And also, more importantly, LaPorte going to receive the second half kickoff, so they're going to have a chance, even despite with all those numbers going against them, they're going to have a chance to go down here to open up this third quarter and a chance to tie or take a lead.
And even just looking at the time of possession, Mason, LaPorte's sitting at 11 minutes with Deer Park 12. Everything's split pretty much down the middle. So, like I was saying during the broadcast, everything's going to come down to the last minute, I think, on this game. Hopefully what we were expecting to make it a fun broadcast, as opposed to in previous years where it's just been almost blowouts.
Yeah, back-to-back blowouts for Deer Park, going Deer Park's way over the last couple of years. Hasn't worked that way so far here in the early part of the 2023 edition of the Border Battle. But Deer Park going to be kicking things off. Hurtado getting the ball teed up.
Kicking off for Deer Park to start the second half. Number 17, Xavier Hurtado. Back deep for the Bulldogs, number 7.
Tyrese Barnes and Kay back deep for the Bulldogs, standing inside their own 10. Hurtado, though, with a high short kick, fielded about the 21. Once again, going to look for that reverse. Instead, Sandoff takes a huge hit, and he's going to be down as Batista came flying in and making the hit on the special teams unit.
And great hit by Batista. Just came in low, wrapped him, got him into the ground, and stopped the LaPorte Bulldogs right at about the 22-yard line.
One of the captains on the defensive side for Deer Park making that tackle as we open up the third. First and 10 for the Bulldogs from their own 22. Just 93 total yards of offense for the Bulldogs in that first half. Rodriguez has taken over at the quarterback spot, handed off to Sandoff up the middle on first down. Millette and a host of maroon jerseys there to meet him after a short gain.
Looks like a gain of about 3 yards by the Bulldogs. Like you said, Millette was in there and just getting his nose on the ball and doing what he does best, making tackles, getting opposing players on the ground.
20 carries for the LaPorte Bulldogs in that first half for just 62 yards. It's been tough sledding, trying to find anything consistent on the ground for LaPorte in that first half. And now they go shotgun here on second down, loading up and fires. Good looking throw, but just too much zip on it. Looking for the big play downfield. Pass intended for Kay goes incomplete.
And I hope Rodriguez could even see over his offensive line. They are imposing. They are large young men out there. And it's I've been watching the offensive defensive line for the Bulldogs and for.
There you see it right there. Just the size disparity. It's like a Kyler Murray situation back there.
It very much is, and it could be attributing reasons why he just sailed that ball a little bit.
Third down at 7. LaPorte 0 for 5 on third downs in that first half. Deer Park defense trying to let that trend continue here. Rodriguez looking left, comes back right, just going to dump it off for Barnes out of the backfield, looking for some blocks, picks them up, picks up the first down and more, and going to be run out of bounds shy of the Bulldog 40.
Barnes has for sure been the producer for the Bulldogs. He seems to be doing really well on the stretch plays, catching it out of the backfield and picking up big chunks of yards for the Bulldogs. This time, it was not pulled back by a penalty.
New set of downs for LaPorte, up ahead to their 39. That's the first third down conversion for LaPorte. Keeps the chains moving. The Bulldogs once again going back under center. Deer Park going to load the box. Toss play for Barnes along the right side. Lowers his shoulder into contact and falls forward. Up ahead for about a pickup of about 6 up ahead to the 45.
And that seems like the first pitch play tonight where they're running it sort of inside between the tight end and the tackle. Picked up a little chunky yards on that one. It seems like every single stretch play or toss play they've been running has been way outside, trying to really stretch the field and see if they can get the ball away from you-know-who, Mr. Luke Webb.
Yeah, Luke Webb with a dominant first half. Second down and 4 for LaPorte. Quick little bubble screen complete to Kay. Picks up a couple of blocks. Short gain, though, of just a yard on second down.
Great job by the Deer corners by just blowing it up the play. They immediately read it. They knew what was happening, and they started attacking the line of scrimmage, which only led to a gain of 1 for the Bulldogs.
Millette coming over for that linebacker spot, as well as, like you said, the corner, Andre Jackson. Not allowing Kay to get any kind of forward momentum. So another third down for LaPorte. This one a manageable 3 yards.
Some communication issues. We got coaches halfway on the field for the Bulldogs.
Play clock at 5. Rodriguez under center. Little misdirection play for Barnes along the left side. Breaks through the tackle of Millette and picks up the first down. Millette obviously upset with himself. He had that play dead to rights in the backfield and just slipped off of Barnes.
That heat yet again playing a factor could be a good reason, because it looks like Millette is just absolutely just sweated through every fiber of his jersey.
Back-to-back third down conversions for LaPorte. As the ball sitting at midfield, 1st and 10. Another toss play for Barnes, looking for a hole along the right side. Now thought about bouncing it before cutting upfield and taking it into Deer Park territory. Landon Sanders in on the stop. First time we've called his name tonight. He was a unanimous first-team selection all-district last year as a corner, and he has made the switch to linebacker.
Maybe some weight gain. Maybe he put on some muscle mass over the offseason. They needed him down there, some speed and some tenacity down there in the box.
There you see him kind of lurking around the 45-yard line or so. Second down at 7, and this ball goes over the head, and Barnes going to have to jump on it all the way back at the Bulldog 35.
Bad communication on the Bulldogs. They just don't seem to have it. They seem to be communicating with the sidelines, communicating amongst each other. It almost seems like they're arguing. It's comes down to fatigue and preparedness. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mason.
No, all good. That doesn't go down as a turnover, but it kills a drive like a turnover would, pretty much. As you saw Rodriguez not even looking at the center when that ball got snapped.
Big advantage for the Deer on this one, especially with field position, because it's been a battle of field position this entire game.
Laporte needing to get to the Deer Park 40 to pick up the first down. Rodriguez loads up, fires up the seam, and pass is going to be incomplete, but nearly got a hand on it. Isitake has already had a huge catch in the passing game tonight, unable to haul that one in, and that'll bring up a fourth down.
Seemed like it was inches away from being a huge play for the Bulldogs, which totally benefits the Deer, which is going to now go back to the field position battle. Looks like the Bulldogs are punting from about the 35.
And Jalen Fisher going to be punting into the wind, coming out of that south end zone. Good rush by Deer Park. Doesn't get there, though, but a high kick. Hayden Smith signals for the fair catch, takes a hop, takes a bit of a Deer Park roll. And Deer Park, they've been sitting pretty with field positions, or starting field position, pretty much all night tonight. And that trend continues here as they're going to start this drive at about their own 48.
Let's see what the Deer do. I know I'm sure they went to the in halftime. They went in, made minor adjustments. They're doing great from an offensive lineman standpoint and from an offense total standpoint. Very minimal mistakes. They just need to get the ball upfield and stick to the run game.
Saw kind of start Terry Thompson get a little bit of a rhythm late in that first half, but kind of been back and forth through the air, on the ground. First down at 10. Kieselhorst back in at quarterback. And all kinds of, this looks like a busted play here. Kieselhorst turned the complete opposite way of where his running back Martinez was going, but Kieselhorst turns nothing into something and picks up the first down.
It's always good when a busted play turns into a first down, especially for the home team, Mason. Kieselhorst stuck with his guns. He saw that, it was a busted play, peeled the ball back, ran upfield, and picked up a solid 11 yards.
Sometimes it even confuses the defense. They don't know what to do. Coach McGraw in the box next to us yelling at his defense. First down, and now going to dump it off. Caught by Hayden Smith. Breaks through, pulling away. Hayden Smith down the sideline for the touchdown.
And he's gone. Coach McGraw saw something. We heard it from up here. He saw him in the flat. Kieselhorst dumped it off to him, and touchdown Deer.
Hayden Smith able to get by that defender. And once he was able to pull away, nobody close for the Bulldogs, and 41 yards later, Hayden Smith finds the end zone, and Deer Park able to extend their lead.
Interesting formation for the Deer right now. They had their entire offensive line lined up down by the 10-yard line, and then they motioned them in. They all came in. See what that benefits the Deer in the future.
Sanchez, his extra point through the uprights, and Deer Park on their first possession of the second half. Hayden Smith out of the backfield.
And Hayden just looks like he ran a small little corner route and just about 3 yards up and got the ball dumped out to him and peeled it up the field and scored a wonderful touchdown for the Deer.
Linebacker unable to keep up with the speed of the senior wideout. And Hayden Smith gets his first touchdown of 2023.
Crowd's going now, Mason. Looks like the home team seems to be chugging along, and Laporte all seems to be sitting down now. Maybe the wind finally got sucked out of their sails. Great turnout tonight. I believe it's a sold-out crowd.
Yeah, sold out on the home side. Of course, that sold out early in the week. They released a couple hundred seats on the far side, the Laporte side. Those sold out quickly. Always good when it's a packed house for the border battle. So 7:18 to go in the third. Deer Park with their largest lead of the night. And that is now 20 unanswered by the Deer. Hurtado sends it to Kay, back at about the 10. Gets by the first defender, and boy, if Batista would have made contact there, he was coming in like a missile.
Batista's been on it tonight. He's been in every single play, getting his nose exactly where he needs to be. He's been a pivotal piece of the defense, and of course now on special teams.
So Kay takes it to the 21 after a modest return there, and now this is an offense that is not really built to come from behind. You can't dig yourself too much of a hole with this running attack.
Let's see what Laporte does, Mason. It looks like they're only coming out with one wide receiver, and here they are again stacking the box on the inside.
Rodriguez is going to go under center. Sandoff and Barnes in the backfield. Now they shifted the shotgun look. They send Kay in motion. Low snap, and Rodriguez is going to take it himself. Millette there waiting with open arms to take him down for a loss of 2 back to the 20.
Good job by the Deer by sticking to their gaps, sticking to their assignments, and getting in and making the tackle, not over pursuing and not trying to do too much on the botched play by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and you wonder if that's the center almost overthinking it after the high snap a few moments ago. That one goes too low.
Crowd seems to be chanting. It's getting pretty hot down there, Mason.
Student section, of course, standing up. 2nd down and 11 for LaPorte. Rodriguez again, and coming in untouched. Sanders lowers the boom.
What a sack. Very nice tackle by Sanders. Came in screaming and made awesome contact on Rodriguez. I'm amazed Rodriguez held on to the ball.
Completely untouched, coming off the edge.
Oh, not even from his blind side, Mason. That was from his vision side, but he was so focused downfield, and I wonder if it has something to do with his size again. Unable to see over his offensive line.
And like you said, just a great play on Rodriguez's part just to hold on to that ball. He got rocked, and a loss of 6 on the sack.
And it's starting to happen. The momentum's starting to shift in the Deer's favor.
3rd down and 17. And more whistles come in. LaPorte going to burn their first time out of this second half. And like you said, in that first half, every time that momentum started to build for Deer Park, it seemed like LaPorte was quick to shut that down, call a timeout. It almost feels like what they're doing here after the huge hit by Sanders just now.
Yeah, I think it was just a battle of attrition. I think it just took time for the Deer's game plan to really take hold and do exactly what it needed to do, and I think that's super important on Coach Flynn and the entire coaching staff to stick to their guns, not change too much, stick to their assignment, and win the game that way. And it seems that LaPorte is doing the opposite. LaPorte's now trying to get their feet back underneath them.
And what a job by this defense so far tonight. They did give up a touchdown in that first half, but that was coming off a short field by Deer Park's lone turnover tonight. So they were set up with a short field, and then even a desperation 4th and a mile play going LaPorte's way has really been their biggest, most successful play on offense tonight. This defense for Deer Park, they have been locked in tonight.
LaPorte's definitely going to have to dig deep in their playbook to find something to get the Deer, to get the momentum back on their side, because I don't think it's going to happen at this rate.
3rd down and 17. New quarterback Cole comes back on. He's trying to escape the pocket. He's going to take it himself, picks up good chunky yardage before being met by Millette along the sideline.
And what a hit.
Bryce Cole taking it himself. Does a good job to pick up what he could and at least trying to get somewhat of this field position back. But still, Deer Park should be sitting fairly pretty after this punt.
And great job by Millette by not peeling upfield or screaming in too hard and making sure that he had a great pursuit angle on the tackle.
And things can always get tricky when along that sideline. You never know when somebody might just take a step out and then you're coming in late. But good job by Millette. Fisher boots it away and hits that wind and dies right about at the 48. Takes a LaPorte roll this time before taking a Deer Park hop back into Bulldog territory. So it looks like Deer Park going to start this one on the right side of the 50.
LaPorte definitely, from a kicking standpoint, specifically punting, they've been doing very well. Their punts have been nice and high. It's just unfortunately that one, or fortunate for the Deer, it was caught by the wind and immediately, like you said, Mason, took a nice bounce for the Deer.
And an important drive for both of these teams coming up right now. Deer Park could really put the pressure on LaPorte, and for the Bulldogs, they desperately need a stop because it feels like the Deer Park offense is starting to click.
It really is. They're all starting to come together, and it looks like, I believe, we have a change of quarterback again.
Yeah, McAdams back in, has the lone touchdown pass tonight for Deer Park. Sends Hayden Smith in motion. Little touch pass, going to follow blockers along the left side. Met at about the 44 and taken down. Number 12, Tristan Oakes, the sophomore defensive back for the Bulldogs, meeting Hayden Smith, but not before Smith picks up about 6 on first down.
And Hayden Smith is running very hard. Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he knows he needs to go north and south. Doesn't spend a lot of time doing too much dancing. He does what he needs to do once he gets the ball, tries to get it upfield.
Ball spotted at the Bulldog 44. Thompson, the running back, standing to McAdams' right, stays into block. McAdams steps up, looking for King Phillips deep downfield, skies for the football, and King Phillips coming down with another huge reception down at about the 15.
And what a catch by Phillips. It was a one-on-one battle, and he just won the battle. He completely dominated the defender by catching the ball at its highest point and bringing it in for a very nice reception.
Just one-on-one coverage against Malik King Miller. And Phillips winning that one-on-one battle. 1st and 10 for Deer Park. Back in the Bulldog red zone at the 15.
I feel like McAdams is finally starting to settle in and shaking off some of those cobwebs.
Hand it off to Thompson on 1st down. Finds a good hole along the left side. And like we said in that first half, Thompson's starting to find his groove a little bit, always seeming to fall forward over his last few carries, and he feels that momentum. He feels his groove. He's wanting that tempo to go.
He never stops moving his feet, even at contact. He does great. These are great fundamentals for a running back, and hopefully this bodes well for the future of the Deer.
Picks up 7 there on 1st down. LaPorte defense still trying to get situated.
A little hard count. A check to the sideline.
Ball spotted at the 8-yard line. Back on the ground for Thompson. Shifts his way, falling forward down inside the 5, close to the 1st down marker. Should be enough to move the chains.
And like he said, shift was the perfect word. Thompson's a very shifty runner, but every time he does, it's always upfield. It's very, very impressive for a young running back.
Makes just enough movement to not take a huge hit.
And for the first time tonight, the Deer are taking their time getting the play out to the huddle. Looks like they're doing a personnel change.
It's like Millette going to be checking in. Already with a touchdown run tonight. Oh, they thought about Millette and still no. So that'll make a 1st and goal even easier after the unsportsmanlike conduct going against Malik King Miller.
Deer in a huddle, very rare for this offense.
McAdams with both Thompson and McBride in the backfield. Hand it off. Thompson looking for a touchdown. Follows his blockers along the right side. Give credit to the offensive line with the push up front. And Thompson finds the end zone for the first time this year.
And you know I love it when you give credit to the offensive line, Mason. He did great. Thompson sat there, read his blocks, and waited very patiently for the gap to open up, didn't force it, and just knew exactly what he needed to do. Great run by Thompson.
Thompson punches it in, and Deer Park, a couple of touchdowns here in this 3rd quarter. They've opened up their largest lead, and they look to be pulling away from LaPorte.
All the plays have been really good by the Deer. They've been very systematic with their movement of the ball. All their plays have been for 5+ yards. Even when they take a minor loss, the Deer are still moving forward, is what it seems like.
Sanchez able to boot through the extra point, and Deer Park now with a 21-point advantage. And yeah, that Bulldog's in trouble.
That Bulldog, Mason, how many years do you think it's been around?
Have to bust out the calculator for that one.
Goodness gracious. Crowd's definitely getting into it. The student section is hopping right now.
3:05 to go in the 3rd. Deer Park with a 21-point advantage. We go back to the touchdown run by Thompson.
And as you can see, Thompson just patiently waiting, driving the ball forward. And you see his almost all 5 of the offensive linemen are already in the end zone.
Yeah. Great push up front. And this offensive line, even despite the 3 new starters up front, starting to establish their will on this LaPorte defense.
Well, they have Jacob. I'm sorry, I can't even say his name. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Marshler, number 55, their senior captain on the offensive line, really commanding and doing what he needs to do. They're doing a wonderful job in the trenches.
One of the 2 returning starters up front for Deer Park. When we talked about Roberto Rodriguez earlier, the junior, making that move from right tackle to left tackle following a 2nd-team all-district selection last year as a sophomore.
And he seems to be doing a great job. Protections there. McAdams and Kleinhorst seem to have all the time that they need.
Sandoff from his own 25, stays on his feet, takes a hit as White brings him down at about the 35-yard line. And Laporte starting to get into that panic mode, you would think, because they are falling behind in a hurry, and they've had no match for Deer Park so far in this third quarter.
And this has definitely been the best field position for the Bulldogs from a kickoff all night. They're roughly about the 35-yard line, and let's see if the Bulldogs can produce.
Two wide receivers split out to the bottom of your screen. Barnes and Sandoff, the running backs. And Rodriguez going to go under center. Toss play left side for Barnes, taken down from behind.
And absolutely blown up by Luke Webb.
Luke Webb just coming in, slicing in, and making the play on Tyrese Barnes.
He's got to be tired of the ball being ran away from him. If they run the replay on this one, you could see he just absolutely blows up that guard and gets into the backfield. 75
Woo!
Just put him way back. What a play. And this is why he's a captain for the Deer, Mason.
And a Oklahoma State commit as well. Reigning district defensive player of the year, and if he plays like this for the rest of the season, he might go back to back. Rodriguez, play action, little sidearm throw. Pass complete to Kay. Great job by Kay to hold on to that ball as he was going to the turf.
Great catch, great throw. He threaded the needle on that one. The coverage was there. It's just a lucky play by the Bulldogs.
Landon Kay with the reception. Sets up a 3rd down and 4 for Laporte. Under 2 to go here in the third. Rodriguez calling out the play, going under center. And a quick little screenplay. Once again, back-to-back completions to Kay. Picks up the 1st down as he slipped by the first defender for Deer Park. And back-to-back catches leads to a new set of downs for the Bulldogs.
And I always try to watch the little things, Mason, and I watch when Laporte breaks their huddle. I know it seems super superficial and almost like irrelevant, but watch your offensive line when they break their huddle. They seem already defeated before they even get to the offensive line. They're not breaking the huddle well. They look very lethargic, if you will.
Yeah, kind of slow to the line. Doesn't seem like they feel like they're having a lot of success. But 1st down and 10, they go back on the ground for Barnes. Hit at the line of scrimmage, tried to bounce it, but nowhere to go. Adam White there to meet him, along with Landon Sanders.
And you could see on that play, they had Luke Webb triple teamed. They had 3 offensive linemen blocking 1 man, allowing the linebackers, your anchors, your rovers to do exactly what they need to get in the field, get upfield, get downfield, make the plays.
Yeah, these linebackers, they're able to feast when you get Luke Webb just taking up most of the offensive line.
And you can see on the replay that's exactly what happened. They tried moving him towards Laporte's sideline. It just didn't benefit the Bulldogs.
Loss of a yard on the play, 2nd and 11, and movement up front going to cost Laporte even more yardage here.
False start on the offense, number 56.
And 56, Braden Nelson, he's had an eventful night tonight. He had a fumble recovery that he got to advance for a few yards.
He sure did, and I'm going to remember that forever, Mason. Anytime an offensive lineman catches the ball out of the air on the pop-up fumble and gets to progress the ball, I am happy.
Picked up a 1st down. How about that?
Can't make it up. It's just wonderful. But again, there it is, the offensive line not holding their water, not making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do and costing their team yards.
So move it back 5, back to the Bulldog 41, 2nd and 16. Kay motions into the backfield. They go play action, fake the give, and looking for a wheel route for Kay out of the backfield and caught deep downfield, staying on his feet and finally going to be drugged down at about the 20-yard line. Jackson finally able to get him out. But Kay on the wheel route and a good-looking throw from Rodriguez, but a flag down back at the Laporte 31.
It's in the area of holding, Mason. Let's see what the refs have to say.
Well, looks like they might be picking it up. Everybody else has advanced back.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Oh.
On the defense, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
And that gives the Bulldogs a spark of life.
Tough loss for the Deer on that one. Big play. Oh, I see it now. Just enough touch on Luke Webb to get the quarterback down.
With the game of the play and the enforcement of the penalty, Deer Park first down and goal to go for the Bulldogs.
Ball spot at the Deer Park 9. Bulldogs desperately need a touchdown to get their way back into this one. 30 seconds left to go in the third. Rodriguez, toss play for Barnes, left side, now makes his cut upfield. Takes it down to about the 6, short gain on the play. And what could be the final play of this third quarter.
I wonder what the plan is for the Bulldogs now. The clock's not in their favor, time's not in their favor, but they do have the field position. It looks like they're trying to run a play real quick.
They're going to try and squeeze one last play out of this third. Rodriguez quickly to the line, trying to catch Deer Park off guard. This time, right side toss play for Barnes. He's hit and dropped. Sanders there to meet him. He's had a big third quarter, and that ends the third period. Deer Park, they put up 14 points in the quarter. They lead it by 21 as we head to the final 12 minutes. Deer Park 27, LaPorte 6 as we head to the fourth. Back after this. Well, it took a little bit of time to get into the groove of this one, but the 70th Border Battle gearing up for an exciting final 12 minutes. Deer Park leads it 27-6 over LaPorte. A couple of touchdowns in that third quarter. Deer Park was able to extend a lead, but LaPorte knocking on the door with a third down and goal situation here as we open up the fourth quarter, desperately needing a touchdown to try and get their way back into this one. Both teams heading back out as we get ready for the final 12 minutes.
The Deer definitely imposed their will in the third quarter, Mason. They were all over the place. They were making great plays, making sound decisions, and sticking to their guns and sticking to their game plan.
LaPorte, definitely two-down territory for the Bulldogs. Barnes and Sandoff, the running backs in the backfield. Deer Park shows pressure, come with the blitz, a little reverse. Landon Kay, and he can stride his way into the end zone. Touchdown, LaPorte. Deer Park came with the blitz, unable to get to Barnes before that toss.
A little chipping going on around that play, Mason. Looks like you said, they just sent the blitz and missed the toss by half an inch.
Yeah, nearly were able to blow that play up as they almost were able to bring down Barnes before that little toss on the reverse. Extra point blocked by Deer Park. And Whistle's going to blow this one dead. Jackson would love to return it, but that will keep the score at 27-12. So still a two-possession game, but here you see the touchdown. Deer Park coming with all kinds of pressure. Adam White nearly got to Barnes, but Barnes able to get away the toss to Kay. And Kay really the star of the show on that drive. Had the huge reception to help set up that touchdown, and he's able to cap it off on the reverse and gets LaPorte back into this one. Two-possession game here, just underway in this fourth.
I'm a big advocate for effort, and I'll say this on Andre Jackson, number 22 for the Deer. He did not give up on the play, even though he knew the Bulldogs were going to score, and that's the sort of effort that the Deer need to have. That's going to attribute to a very long run in the playoffs.
Hopefully so. Jackson putting on a little bit of a love tap at the end, just letting Kay know that he was there. You might get the touchdown, but I'm going to let you know that I'm here.
You can't let them forget that why they're here. This is a rivalry.
That's right. So 11:46 to go. LaPorte gets back into it. Deer Park kind of lining up in where they might anticipate an onside, but instead a little chip shot. And a fair catch signal for by Thompson. That'll blow the play dead as he picked it up And Deer Park will have some of their worst starting field position, it feels like, throughout the course of the night, but they're still going to be starting this one at their own 29.
Interesting choice by the Bulldogs to do the pooch kick to the 29. Fair catch was called by Terry Thompson, and they'll have not bad field position. Like you said, worst of the night.
Kieselhorst back in at quarterback. Just coming off that touchdown throw to Hayden Smith. First down and 10. Trey Martinez lined up into the backfield. Little triple option look, and Kieselhorst going to take it himself with lots of running room, picking up the first down and getting it into Bulldog territory. Great looking run by the quarterback.
It almost looks like he's running in slow motion, Mason. He is such a long runner. He's very tall and was able to stride it out, and it wasn't touched till almost a 50-yard line.
Yeah, you saw that linebacker go right to Martinez, and he just elected to take it himself.
As y'all can see on this play, you could see as that stride with all the Bulldogs trying to catch up to him, trying to get a pursuit angle, and they just couldn't. Wasn't touched. Nice play by the Deer.
And how about the quarterback not shying away from contact either, going right into the chest of that defensive back there.
I absolutely love it.
First and 10 at the Bulldog 46. Kieselhorst looking to throw. Now going to throw off a back foot, looking for a prayer for Hayden Smith, and it's answered down inside the 15.
And what a catch. He saw Mr. Smith down in the end zone, down by the 20, and tossed it up, hoping for a catch. And Hayden had to turn around, but he made the catch and was able to get down for a Deer first down.
Even Hayden Smith throwing up the shrug like, yeah, I guess. When things are going your way, they're going your way.
Hey, good enough, good enough.
And just like that, Deer Park back in the red zone. First and 10 at the 13.
Look at Kieselhorst coming out throwing the ball. McAdams had a big first half with throwing the ball around, and now we got both quarterbacks working.
Hand it off. Gregory on first down. Stops, makes a cut back towards the middle of the field, trying to spin off contact, taking it down inside the 10. Good looking run by Isaiah Gregory down to about the 8.
The Deer definitely have the run day going with Gregory and Thompson. I think we have a really good 1-2 punch. I think so many offenses now, especially in high school, are going to a multi-back, multi-quarterback, and the Deer are definitely capitalizing because we have the talent and the depth.
Second and 5. Deer Park can pick up a first down with the ball spotted at the 7. Now the Deer taking their time. Play clock at 10 as Kieselhorst looking towards the sideline. Kieselhorst goes slant route, end zone, touchdown. King Phillips.
There's Mr. Phillips again. What a slant route. Textbook. Can't draw it up any better, Mason.
Beat the corner for the inside leverage, and at that point, it's a wrap. King Phillips finding the end zone tonight for the first time.
King Phillips did really well on that play. As you can see on the replay, once we run it, he ran about 3 yards in on a slant, and the ball was there exactly where it needed to be. Great catch.
Kieselhorst with his second touchdown throw tonight. And Sanchez. Deer Park back on top by this time 22. There's your replay.
As y'all can see, just like I called it, excuse me, guys. You see Kieselhorst drop back, read the defense, and threw a perfect slant route to the wide receiver.
King Phillips finding the end zone. Hayden Smith has found the end zone. Senior tight end McBride, all with touchdown receptions tonight. So with 10:16 to go, Deer Park answers the LaPorte touchdown with a touchdown of their own. And what a response by that Deer Park offense.
Absolutely.
After LaPorte went down, got a touchdown early in this fourth quarter to get their way back into it, back to a two-possession game. And Deer Park goes right down the field and answers back with a touchdown of their own.
I think it's exactly what the Deer wanted. They wanted to take any momentum the Bulldogs had, take it away from them, and make sure that all the dominance sticks to the Deer.
Hurtado back on to boot this one away. This one drifting towards the sideline, takes a hop at about the 20 and goes out of bounds, so that will benefit the Bulldogs a little bit following the penalty. And for LaPorte, offensively, it's will they be able to make enough plays down the stretch to get their way back into it? Scored with a big play through the passing game last drive. It's not what the offense is built for. So you got to believe that there's not a whole lot of those plays left to go in this one.
See what's going on here. We got some.
Free kick out of bounds. LaPorte has opted to take the ball at the 30-yard line. First down.
Interesting choice by LaPorte.
The Bulldogs back to work offensively, looking to build on that momentum from the last drive. 1st and 10 from their own 30. And Rodriguez going to hand it off for Barnes, looking for blocks along the right side. Does a good job to get up to the second level and picks up about 5.
Great run by Barnes. The Bulldogs are now bringing in their tight ends, bringing in their receiver, and stacking the box again like they did in the first half, Mason.
Barnes picks up 6, and Barnes having a good game in this matchup this year after he was almost a non-factor last year. Just 2 carries for 34 yards. He would have a great 2022 campaign. He was the district newcomer of the year, but almost a non-factor in the border battle last year. But finding a groove here in 2023. Handoff goes up the middle and a first down run going up ahead to about the 45-yard line or so.
The Bulldogs' running game seems to be picking up a little momentum here, Mason. They definitely need to start. They need something to keep this game a little closer because we're slowly approaching the end. We got about 9 minutes and 25 seconds left.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick up yards in chunks and do it in a hurry if they want to get their way back into this one. 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Kay goes in motion. Toss, little reverse, and now Kay looking to throw. Has a man wide open at the 32, and Jackson able to track him down and make a touchdown-saving tackle, running the receiver out of bounds at about the 10. And a flag going to be tacked on at the end after Jackson with a little extra shove.
Jackson got a little frustrated on that play just like he did earlier. I think he feels the momentum shifting for the Bulldogs and wants to do his best, but he needs to keep his mind where it needs to be and make sure he doesn't make any dumb plays, and that's going to cost the Deer more yards.
Well, we talked about LaPorte needing yards in chunks. They just got a huge chunk there, but you got to believe they would have loved to have the touchdown there because there was nobody within about 10 yards of that wide receiver. Kay with a little bit of an underthrow.
Play was over. Personal foul on the defense, number 22. Late hit, out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
The Deer are keeping the Bulldogs in the game, Mason.
And here you see the little reverse pass by Landon Kay, just finding number 18, Porter, wide open. But Jackson able to track it down, and that little extra shove right there. Personal foul penalty. Yardage-wise, though, not a huge costly error, just 5 yards. 1st and goal from the 5. Toss it to Barnes, lowers his shoulder and slices his way into the end zone. LaPorte not going away.
Always exciting when the border battle starts to heat up, Mason, and LaPorte seems to be getting a little momentum in their favor. So hopefully the Deer will come out offensively and take it right away like they have in the previous drives.
Barnes finds the end zone. And LaPorte, see if they might think about going for 2 here.
They got to do something to close the gap because they've
had trouble on their extra point kicks tonight.
They sure have. They sure have.
So the offense going to stay out, trying to make it a 14-point game. Even if they don't get it, they're not out of it. Still a 2-possession game, but Barnes able to break tackles, extends towards the end zone, and punches it in. Back to a 14-point game.
Now it's going to be on the Deer to respond, to see what they do, Mason. Because I could definitely see the offensive line getting fired up by the offensive line coach down there. And LaPorte's getting excited in the booth next to us.
Oh, yeah. Just over 3 minutes gone by in this 4th quarter, and already the 3rd touchdown scored of the period.
always good when both teams are scoring. It makes it a little bit more exciting, especially the closer the Bulldogs can get it, because ultimately, from a standpoint of just effort and field position, the Deer are just dominating.
Yeah.
So it's good to see the Bulldogs try to make it a more competitive game.
They've had some tricks up their sleeve.
And they seem to be working, especially on the reverse pass. And, well, I would say for the most part on their special teams, that blunder of a
little fake reverse early in that first half, that would have been a devastating turnover. But I guess that is one positive for the LaPorte offense tonight. It's been a struggle running the ball, but no turnovers. They've been able to score on some big plays.
More impressive. The most impressive for me right now on LaPorte's offense is Barnes. He's been running the ball very hard. He's been doing great, reading his blocks. Let's see what the Deer offense has to offer.
Fair catch signaled by Thompson, and just going to concede possession, and Deer Park offense is going to start this drive at their own 27. See what Coach McGraw's defense can do against this Deer Park offense that has really started to find its groove over the last couple quarters.
First down at 10, Deer Park from their own 27-yard line.
Looks like we have McAdams back in at quarterback.
McAdams got the Deer Park scoring started back in that first quarter on a touchdown throw to McBride. He's back in there to start this drive. First and 10 from the 27. Going to motion in Martinez, but the little RPO dumps it off. Martinez at the 30, 35, picks up a great downfield block by Hayden Smith, and Martinez takes it into Bulldog territory. Going to be run out inside the 40.
And what a great play. It was a fake handoff inside, and all the quarterback was doing was reading the outside, seeing what the linebacker was going to do. Once he squeezed, he was going to pitch it out, and if he went out, he would just dump it in the flats like you see on this replay, Mason.
Even fooled the cameraman.
Great fake.
And a great block downfield by Hayden Smith.
Absolutely. Can't
Extra
beat
10
that.
or 15 yards out of that play. Great effort. First and 10 at the Bulldog 36. Thompson checks in, fake the give to him, keep it by McAdams along the right side, and quarterback able to fall forward for a gain of 6 down to the 30.
And we're starting to get chippy down there, but again, it's frustration out of the Bulldogs. They didn't touch McAdams until he was about 5 yards already up the field.
Deer Park trying to respond after that latest LaPorte touchdown. Porte defense still trying to get their personnel right. McBride goes in motion. Back on the ground, Thompson straight ahead up the middle, bouncing off defenders, but unable to get by the grip of number 33, Gavin McAvoy, the defensive lineman.
Very impressive by Thompson. Even when he's touched, he's still moving the ball forward. Like we said, probably by 100 times now. No matter what, he is falling forward, getting positive yards even after he's touched.
Deer Park with a manageable third down here at the Bulldog 30. McAdams looking left, going to go deep, looking for Phillips, jump ball, and that ball batted away. Good coverage downfield. Malik King Miller in coverage for the Bulldogs as McAdams was looking to hook up with King Phillips. Goes incomplete, and now 4th down, and the offense staying on the field.
And King Miller almost picked off that ball, Mason. It was a very odd throw. Almost seemed like he didn't want to do it, but it was the best read on the field for him at the time.
4th down play. Deer Park looking to convert. McBride in motion. McAdams going to roll to his left. Has Phillips open. First down, beats the defender and falling forward down near the 15. Matched up one-on-one against Blake Stout. And Phillips taking advantage of the sophomore there, picking up the first down.
And I don't know if it's a advantage to us, but we have the defensive coordinators for LaPorte next to us, and we can almost hear every single time that they're about to make a big play because they start slamming on the table. I love it.
First and 10 at the 16. Clock runs inside of 7 minutes.
It's like a play change. The Deer must see something on the LaPorte defense.
McBride motions over towards the left side. 3 wideouts to the bottom of your screen, but they're going to keep it on the ground. And gang tackled after a modest gain there on first down. Gregory on the carry, and another flag thrown here.
Now with a Deer lined up with a trips at the bottom, it seemed like they Laporte brought down that safety into the box to almost act as another linebacker to aid the Bulldogs in tackling the Deer's run game.
Another penalty coming after the whistle here, it looks like. And these 15-yarders, it feels like, starting to pile up here.
It's definitely getting chippy, and I think the refs have had enough of it now.
After the play was over, personal foul on the offense, number 74, 15-yard penalty.
And a crucial mistake there by the sophomore right tackle Bustamante after the play was over. In Deer Park, they had just converted the 4th down. They picked up good yardage on 1st down. And that one going to reset things a little bit as the officials mark off 15.
You got to not let that little things get to you. The chippiness, the trash talking, you got to let it just slide off your back. You can't let it affect your play and affect the offense.
Empty backfield look here. Little touch pass, fake the reverse. Hayden Smith following some blockers, and he's upended inside the 20. As Hayden Smith picks up about 8 or 9 on that play.
Laporte seemed very flat-footed on that play, like almost they didn't know what was going on. They were expecting a pass on that little jet sweep.
Deer Park going to swap out, bring some extra speed onto the field as Martinez and Gregory come on. Inside of 6 minutes. And Laporte desperately needing a stop, trailing by 14. A touchdown here by Deer Park would essentially be the nail in the coffin, and I think Coach Flynn knows that. He's going to try and draw up something really good here on 3rd down.
Deer Park definitely has an amazing 1-2 punch.
Deer Park's first time out of the second half.
Has an amazing 1-2 punch with Hayden Smith and King Phillips Mason. No matter what, no matter where on the field, I feel like those 2 wide receivers are always going to be open or always super competitive to make a play.
Or at least draw enough attention like we saw on Deer Park's first touchdown, where that allowed McBride just to get open up the seam. And there you see a little bit of border battle history, even getting the baseball score in there. Can't spell Laporte without the L.
Wonderful one. And is that the baseball team standing on top of that? That is awesome. That reminds me of like way back in the day, the old NCAA posters.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the
able
best.
to edit those posters. That was always great.
Goodness.
There you go. One more time. Baseball even picking up a win. Oh, basketball too. I missed basketball there on the bottom.
59-51.
Okay. That's dominance right there. 3rd down and 12. Offense trying to punch it in. McAdams rolling. Has Hayden Smith open on the little out route. Gives the shift, little shimmy to the defender, and gets near the 1st down marker.
All Hayden had to do was just look at the kid, and he went completely flat-footed, didn't know what to do, and picked up 3 more yards.
Going to be close, I think, but a little bit shy of the line to gain. Deer Park needed 12. They picked up 11. 4th down and 1. Crucial down coming up here.
Looks like they're bringing in another offensive lineman. It looks like they took out Bustamante for a minute, but he's back in now.
Bustamante had that personal foul penalty. McAdams handed off. Gregory straight ahead, right downhill, and he picks up the 1st down. And more time going to be able to melt away off this clock as Gregory picks up the 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal from the 2.
Love the push by the Deer, and it looks like they're running a hurry up.
And that tempo forcing Laporte to burn their 2nd timeout. 5:23 to go. Deer Park with a 14-point advantage.
This is Laporte's 2nd timeout of the second half.
Looks like the coaching staff at Laporte was just ready to call that timeout. They're almost halfway on the field.
Yeah, Deer Park they were going tempo. They knew that if they could punch it in, catch Laporte off guard, a touchdown here pretty much would wrap things up.
The Deer almost don't even need to, though. They've been completely dominant, whether they're running hurry up or going back to a huddle and running a play. The Deer just are on it. They're very well coached, very well put together for this game. It's very impressive to watch.
And we talked about that dominance in the first half, and it wasn't really showing up on the scoreboard. It's really kind of made itself known more in the second half. And LaPorte, give them credit, especially over the late in that third quarter into the fourth. They have not given up. They've fought back, gotten some touchdowns to stay in it. But every time LaPorte has had a punch, Deer Park so far has had a counter punch.
Absolutely, and I think that's great because that's the most important thing about fighting is counter punch. And let's see what the Deer do on this play, Mason.
Going to line up the tight end McBride in the backfield. Hand it off to Gregory. Gets a great push up front, right down the throat of this LaPorte defense. And Deer Park, they have hung 40 on LaPorte here in the border battle.
And you could have driven a truck through that hole, Mason. It was big enough to where I think one of us could have walked through that thing.
Slow stroll into the end zone. And Gregory.
It looks like another flag on the play. I think the refs let him play the first half, Mason. I think they're absolutely done with the chippiness.
Yeah, more meetings in between both of these teams.
And the refs still seem to be in their little huddle. Let's see what happens on this replay. Just a great push. Absolutely love it. Just dominance by the offensive line.
You saw Gregory kind of with his arm hanging to the side as he was coming off the field, and you wonder if maybe he kind of fell awkwardly on that as he got brought down once he was already in the end zone.
After the play was over, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Deer Park for an illegal celebration. The 15-yard penalty will be added to the kickoff.
An illegal celebration. I mean, I guess that's better than the chippiness that we've gotten.
Yeah, or any other penalty. I must have missed it.
Sanchez, his extra point up and good. Yeah, I didn't catch it either. I mean, Gregory was coming up off the bottom of that pile. I can't imagine it was him.
Maybe it was the big uglies up front. Maybe the guy just got a little too excited.
Oh, a little too elaborate of a handshake is what we're hearing between Gregory and King Phillips. A handshake? Come on.
I guess
I can understand if they spiked the ball. I have always known that you can't spike the ball, but come on.
Maybe it's just enough. That's too much. Handshakes are just too much nowadays.
Either way, Deer Park bumps their lead back up to 21 rather, 41-20. Hayden Smith is your dad. How many signs do they have down there?
Man, they have
an impressive amount of different signs. Shout out the student section.
Absolutely, the student section has just they've been wonderful tonight. Obviously, we had to get a little scoring going on the Deer side, but the signs, I want to see more of it.
I know. I'm very impressed. I'm hoping that this sets the tone for the rest of the year.
I would only imagine so, especially with the first game of the year being sold out. It's wonderful to see. Like I said, the energy's been here since we walked in the stadium.
Student section and band still rocking. Kickoff is away. Kay running up on it at his own 20. Gets the sideline, makes the whole side of that kickoff team miss, but a good open field tackle there to bring him down. Looked like number 18 on the stop. Isaac Pena, the senior defensive back, tripping up Kay there, but a great return.
Yeah, Landon Kay's been very shifty. He's been great on offense and great on the return game tonight. LaPorte looks like they're getting back in the huddle, sticking to their game plan. The clock is definitely not in their favor. Let's see what they do.
Starting this drive at their own 48. And Rodriguez is going to be taking the snap from the shotgun. Sand off the running back to his right, and the other running back, Barnes, split out to the bottom of your screen. Little double pump, goes deep downfield. Kay skies for the football and makes the catch.
And that's 2 plays in a row for Kay. on the kickoff and now on the reception.
And just like that, Bulldogs at the Deer Park 31.
So interesting thing about LaPorte, they're doing something that is a little bit more old school, I guess you could say. It's some old school smash mouth football where the offensive line shifts to the strong side or weak side by flipping, and that dictates usually which side the ball is going to go to and depends on how the defense lines up.
New set of downs at the 31. Fake the give. Quick little dump off, setting up a screen for Barnes along the far side. He breaks through the first wave and takes it for a nice pickup. See where they mark him out. It looks like about the 25-yard line. Should be enough for a pickup of about 6 on that screen play.
And the Deer are staying disciplined, especially on the defense. They're staying near their gaps, and they could have had a big play on the last one if they would have just been an inch to the left or inch to the right.
LaPorte trying to answer right back. 2nd down and 5. Handoff goes to Barnes along the right side. Picks up 4 before Millette brings him down, shy of the first down marker.
Great tackle by Millette. Put his shoulder right in the hip of Barnes and got him on the ground.
Clock continues to run inside of 4.5 minutes to go.
The Deer don't look tired, Mason, not comparatively to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this defense, they've been flying around, and they've had several 3-and-outs over the course of tonight. They haven't really been on the field for any extended amount of time as the pitch goes to Barnes here. Play action, throws deep downfield, passes batted away at the goal line. Number 6, Ethan Chavez, a returning starter from a year ago, able to deny the touchdown there.
Great play by Chavez. The play action had me. Barnes had it in his hand. It looks like he just flipped it back to Rodriguez, and then great play. Let's see.
Tossed to Barnes, and he gave it right back to him. And how about that? The corner matched up one-on-one with the tight end and able to get a hand in there and knock that ball away.
Good on Chavez for sticking to his assignment.
4th down and a yard to go. If Deer Park can make a stop here, that might shut the door on LaPorte, but the handoff goes to Barnes. He's got the first down, and he's taken down at about the 16-yard line. Clock will stop momentarily as the chains get reset, but we're inside of 4 to go.
And it looks like Mr. Bautista, there he is again, putting his nose and right where it needs to be and slowing down Barnes' run game.
Deer Park making some substitutions along the defensive line. 1st and 10 for LaPorte as we approach 3.5 minutes to go. Ball at the Deer Park 15. Back to the shotgun. Sandoff and Barnes in the backfield. Quick drop and miscommunication there. He was going fade route to the end zone. Hisutaki ran the curl, and that ball goes incomplete.
Miscommunication from Rodriguez. Or Hisutaki doesn't seem to be working out for the Bulldogs, especially in the red zone.
41-20. This was a 13-6 game at halftime. We thought we were going to get a fairly low-scoring affair.
It did not end up that way.
Did not end up that way at all. Rodriguez now back under center on 2nd and 10. Little handoff to Barnes along the left side. Nothing but maroon jerseys there to meet him. He does at least get out of bounds for LaPorte, but they're going to say continue to wind that clock.
Barnes did his best to stretch the play all the way to the sidelines. It seemed like he just ran out of room. Maybe if had another 5 yards, but I still don't think the Deer have been swarming. And like I said, they just don't look tired. And that's what I think is the most impressive is their conditioning has been excellent. They're even getting in and out of the huddle or the defensive assignments. They're sprinting to the sidelines. They look great. Hopefully we can continue this trend through the year.
LaPorte looking at a 3rd down and 8. In desperation mode here, play action. Rodriguez takes a huge hit, but gets the pass away to Barnes, who was swallowed up and dropped.
And there's our sophomore again.
Luke Webb and a whole host of maroon jerseys just swarming Barnes as soon as he got that football. But what a play defensively. A huge hit put on Rodriguez. And the great pursuit along the defensive line. Here you get the replay.
Thompson Johnson, just effort. Just gets out there, wraps up, and doesn't quit.
Yeah.
There he is, old 88 again.
That's right. The old defensive lineman with 88. Sophomores had a good game tonight. Ball pushed back to the Bulldog 22. Rodriguez on 4th down, goes towards the end zone. It goes in and out of the hands. Batista nearly had an exclamation point on this one with the interception, but it goes incomplete, and Deer Park going to take over.
Bautista seems to be beating himself up, so he's beating the turf, but it's okay. He'll get another opportunity. It looks like Laporte's finally getting maybe excited. Seems like they're throwing baby powder.
Baby powder, is that what all that is affecting the Laporte fans over there.
It's the band's getting a mouthful of it.
I think the perpetrator is going to be stopped before they can make an exit.
Ooh.
It's probably not in the escape plan there.
No, they didn't.
Being caught at the exit. Handed off to Thompson as Deer Park going to try and burn off these final couple minutes. Thompson gets ahead to the 25.
Handoff goes to number 8, Terry Thompson. Caleb Shannon takes the stop.
Exciting to see these last 2 minutes. Just to solidify their victory, making sure they pick up first down. And it'll be a nice, clean, I believe, 4th year in the row, Mason?
Third, I believe.
It's going to be 3rd year in a row?
Yeah. Put me on the spot. I had a whole...
I know.
I had the whole series pulled up on an Excel spreadsheet. Now I've lost it, and you've ruined me.
Another great pickup by Thompson.
Thompson up ahead to about the 29. But, yeah, Deer Park now going to win their 3rd in a row. LaPorte still with an overall lead in the series. Bulldogs have won 36. Deer Park about to win their 33rd, and one tie. Came back in, I think, about the mid-40s.
All right.
I think it was 7-7.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Like we saw in 1944, 1943. I was like, you know what? Even though there was something happening in those times. That time,
yeah, those mid-40s games still getting played, even despite certain world events that were happening. Back on the ground. Thompson again. First down, could seal it, but he is going to be swarmed right at the line of scrimmage. First matchup between these two came back in 1941.
Thompson had an opportunity to cut it upfield, but I think he just misread it a little bit, but it's okay. Because I think, just like they said it, that's the final play of the ball game, Mason.
Deer Park with a resounding 41-20 victory in the 70th edition of the Border Battle. They knock off LaPorte for the 3rd consecutive year, and they get off onto the right track here in 2023. They move to 1-0. They've got Clear Creek coming up next week, right back here at home. The alphabet has more W's than LaPorte. Man, I am impressed by the sign game by the student section tonight.
And you know what? Keeping it appropriate, too, and still being funny is a double win.
Shout out to the student section tonight. They had almost as good of a performance as the team on the field did. Deer Park cruises behind a strong offensive output. They finally started to click things. Maybe in that first quarter they couldn't really get things going, but second, third, and fourth quarter, it seemed no matter which quarterback was in there, Deer Park really started to find their rhythm.
Absolutely. It wasn't predominant, but I was impressed with the run game today. Deer Park has potential to have a deep playoff run, especially with the most important thing is running the ball, keeping it on the ground. I think with some tightening up and some maturing on the offensive line, especially from our very young sophomore, Emmanuel Bustamante, I think there's potential for him to be all-district.
I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun ride here in 2023, and hopefully Deer Park, they missed out on a district championship a year ago. They're going to try and right that ship here in 2023. But before we get into district, we got lots to go here in 2023. The Clear Creek Wildcats coming to town next week. We'll be right back here with a live broadcast. Ned, thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely, sir. It was my pleasure.
Had so much fun. Anytime you want to be back, we'll kick Tim out anytime you want.
Yeah, anytime Tim doesn't want to be here, let me know, and I will volunteer my services. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been an honor to do it for the 70th Border Battle.
And Deer Park, 41-20, your final score. All Deer Park tonight. It's a happy one here from Abshire. We'll see you next week.